Hello, this is Brad Wardell, the executive producer of Fallen Enchantress, a new PC strategy game coming from Stardock. And what I'm going to do here is just kind of walk you through how the game is played for those of you who are new to the game. If you are familiar with the game, you may find all this redundant. So, it's a fantasy game, and you can choose amongst, when you start a game, you have a series of sovereigns you can choose to play as or create your own. I created one in honor of my lovely wife, Deb. And so this is her here. And you start out as a powerful magical being who's at the beginning of their career in a very, very violent world, a world where previously powerful beings known as the Titans had come and trashed the place. And so in the time between the fall of civilization and now, monsters and other creatures have taken over. I'm going to go ahead and just customize who I'm playing against. So this is on the customized player screen. So you have difficulty levels. Beginner is what we default as, so just bear that in mind that when you get if you get the game, it'll be defaulting to beginner, which is this level here. Let's see, not here. Easy. I'm sorry, easy is what it'll be at. Or no. So you have normal, easy. So easy is obviously where the AI is a little bit gimped. Normal, the AI is also a little bit gimped, but it should be pretty a good play, especially if you're an experienced strategy game player. Challenging is where the game is playing its best game against you, and then at higher levels we give the AI a little extra stuff, which is the norm in these kinds of games. So I'm going to go ahead and hit next. Alright, here we are at the beginning of the game. So my sovereign, Deb here, is an adventurer, and that the bonus being at that as your profession is that you get to go up a level. So I'm going to choose Adventurer's Boom. So every time you go up a level, you get a number of new skills you can add. I'm going to choose Adventurer's Boom because it gives me 15 more hit points, which is very important early in the game. So when you start up the game here, you'll notice that that the map itself has a bunch of icons on it. So these icons represent how much grain is on that tile, how much materials, which are used for production, and essence, which is the magical propensity of the tile. Now, as a general rule, what I do is I want to you don't want to have a tile with not enough materials because that makes everything build slow. So I tend to go a little bit where I like it even between grain, which is essentially how large your city is going to get, which means how much money you can produce, and materials, which is really how fast it's going to be able to build things. So I'm going to go ahead and settle right here. So here's a little cutscene explain what you do. Now, one of the nice things is that because the world's been kind of wrecked, is that as your area of control spreads from your cities, the land begins to recover. So, which is a nice thing. So the next thing I tend to do is, what you'll notice is that because there's one essence on that tile, my city has a little slot here. And that means, that represents how many enchantments I can cast on it. So I go to my spell book here. Here are some city enchantments I have. I can do Enchanted Hammers, which will improve production, Inspiration, which will increase my research, or Sovereign's Call, which increases my growth. So that's what spells I get depends on my champion, what champions I have, what spells I know, and that sort of thing. So there's a gajillion spells in the game. In any particular game, you'll only see a fraction of what's actually available because there's so many combinations of champions and skills you might get. Anyways, I tend to go with Enchanted Hammers at first because that helps me build up things faster. The next thing I'm going to do is see this guy here, there's a little blue icon above his head. That means I can recruit him. This is my champion. Some games call them heroes. And they cost money, so if I come to recruit, it'll say, which is another thing, I chose I chose leadership as one of my sovereign perks, and so it's cost me 0 to recruit champions, which is very nice. So I get to keep my money. So the nice thing about champions is that you can equip them with new stuff. They go up levels. Well, everything goes up levels, but you can give them all kinds of gear in the game, and they get all kinds of new perks. They're kind of like you are, except that if they get killed in a battle, and I shouldn't say killed, but if they fall in battle, they get an injury, which is a negative perk. So I'm going to send him over here. And see, for example, here I found some leather armor. I can choose equip, and now I should zoom in here. You can see there he is. He's actually wearing them. So the next thing I'm going to do with my city here is I'm going to hit the train button. And there's hotkeys for all this. I'm just going to use the mouse to illustrate how you do it. And so I have a disciple, which is my good attack unit at the beginning of the game. Militia, which is a really cheap attack unit. A pioneer, you need pioneers to do settlements and build outposts. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, because at the beginning of the game, it's kind of a land grab. There's other players in the world, and they are looking to grab territory. And so you're going to either have to claim it with pioneers when it's neutral, or you're going to have to conquer it with armies. So I usually train at least one pioneer right off the bat. Some people do two, or some people just try to build up their city. There's a lot of different ways you can go about it. So the next thing I'm going to do with my guy, and again, these aren't things you have to do. I'm just telling you my strategy after playing many, many hours. You may come up with your own strategy. I'm sure people who watch this on the forums will tell me how wrong I am, but I'm going to come over here and I'm going to choose to add some unit enchantments. So, for example, more hit points, regeneration. Well, I really wish I had evade. This champion doesn't have, or my Sovereign doesn't have that, but courage is helpful. And that just gives me a few more hit points. But you can see she's only got 8 attack, so she has 2 moves, 8 attack, 0 defense, and 43 hit points. So she's pretty robust, but she's pretty wimpy too. And you'll see that by when you run into other monsters. Now, with terms of getting around the user interface, my favorite way of getting around is to click on the map and then move the mouse cursor around. You can also use the mouse wheel to zoom in, and if you zoom out far enough, you'll get the cloth map so you can see everything. Or if you hold this down and then move the middle mouse button down and rotate, you can actually rotate the map around. And as far as I don't know of any other game that lets you actually rotate the map like this. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and send her over to these little chests are like goodie huts. They're just notable locations. And I've just uncovered my first bad guy right here. See this Wilding Warrior. But he's only got 4 attack, 0 defense, 12 hit points. So I can easily take him out. And then I will have him explore this way. So now that I've built a city, it's going to ask me to set up a research path. So what do I want to research? Well, Fallen Enchantress has 3 different technology paths. So you have Civilization, which is really about building up your city and your faction. Warfare, which is about building stuff to kill other things. And Magic, which is lets you make use of magical resources and spells to accomplish the same sorts of things you might try to do with Civilization or Warfare. I tend to, in this case, I'm going to go with leatherworking. Now that's only because my champion and my sovereign right now are so wimpy that that I could really use some armor. So this is a tough call because the number besides here represents how many turns it's going to take, and that's really painful. 43 turns is a long time to get to there. So whereas if I got knowledge, I could build a study. I'm sure people on the forums will tell me how wrong I am with all of these choices. Ironically, if I had cast, instead of enchanted hammers, if I had cast inspiration, I would be able to get that a lot faster. So it's just a choice. What can I build here to... what I'm going to build, because my faction is Paradin, I can build a scrying pool, which will add 1 more essence, so I can then have my cake and eat it too, by adding that inspiration enchantment. Alright, let's see. Legend of Tandis. Oh, this is it's a book of experience. Not enough to go up a level. So when I attack this guy here, it's gonna bring up this dialogue giving me the stats. And I can either go into battle and personally fight the battle, or I can auto resolve it. This isn't gonna be close, so I'm just gonna smack him down. And he's dead. And it's this is a letter from the last guy who was visiting him, and they've just invited him for dinner. Unfortunately, it's not really valuable other than it's funny. Ah, now this is a better weapon. So let's see. Now my attack is 14 attack, 0 defense, which is much, much nicer. And this treat just gave me a sand golem. So now there's 2 of us. So now we're definitely tough enough to go and kill some stuff. So let's see. I'm going to go ahead and attack these guys here. These are just a bunch of ruffians. 12 attack, 0 defense, 24 hit points. They're no match for me, but I am going to fight the battle out. So here I am here. Now this is, in this bar, this is my, unfortunately I have no spells yet, but if I did, I can put these into this action bar and then I can use hotkeys to call them. So right now I'm literally just a mundane character, but I will probably be able to fix that after this battle. Especially when I have that mace. You can tell there's a missing sound effect there, so I'm obviously testing a beta. So I got 7 experience with that, and that will be enough to go up. This is good. Earth Disciple. That's outstanding because I happen to know that Earth Disciple, and it was in a highlight too, will allow me to cast a spell called Stone Skin on myself. And that just gave me a bunch of defense. Wow. 6 defense for her. So that's outstanding. Okay, and that just gave me a growth potion. He's made it to his spot over here. Now this guy is an enemy champion. I can't recruit him because he's allied with the Empire. So in the world of Elemental, there are 2 main factions. There are the Empires and there are the Kingdoms. And in I chose to be a kingdom, and that means I can't recruit units that are aligned with the other side. But I think 9-4. No, I think if I'm going to cast that same spell that I just did. You can use the mouse wheel, by the way, to scroll through this. It's kind of a cheat way to do it. So if I go on here, you'll see Stone Skin gave him 6 more. I feel confident that I can take him out now. Let's see. See, so here's his op bar. If I go to spells, I can literally, if I wanted to reassign this, I can go and assign it to like this. Like then this, that was Burning Hands. Let's see, spells. Yeah, it's because, so I'll make that 1 again. So let's see how this goes. Alright, whoops, I got into range of him. That was foolish of me, as someone online would say. So I'm going to use Burning Hands on him, because I can do 8 fire damage. Up to it. Ooh, and he has Burning Hands. Okay, so I underestimate how powerful he was, and he was defeated. Now, champions don't die. Instead, what happens is that they have to go back to the nearest city and recover, but they get a negative perk, which is, in this case, he loses 10% of his max hit points. So you don't want him to lose a battle, but they're not dead. You're not going to be monkeying around with resurrect spells. So let's see. Let me just walk you through some of these other resources. Crystal is one of the resources you're going to want. That's something you would want to use with your pioneers. Over here is a quest. When you mouse over it, it'll tell you how powerful it is. Weak means you can probably take it at the beginning of the game. And there's ones called epic, which means you should only be doing it at the end of the game. This is a shard. That's where your mana comes from. And I'm going to go ahead and build on that. Every time you build something, it goes. The nearest city is assigned to actually do the building, so they don't happen on their own. You can also, when the time comes, upgrade your resources. So there's another quest right here, a weak one. I'll show you a quest before we exit out here. So let's see, the Fearful Merchant. There's a frightened man. He says that Bruntus, the Tenebrous, has taken over the workshop. Oh, I would like that shield. Yes. Alright, so we have to go over there and kill those Darklings. So here they are. So let's go and get those guys. That's it. Alright. So there they are over here. And I have a growth potion, which I think I'm going to use for this demo. I would not normally do so, but watch this. Makes me into giant woman here. Oh god, that's gonna haunt me for a while. Okay, makes my character into giant woman. As you can see, there are some advantages to being a giant. Of course, there's also advantages to having a stone golem hanging out with you. There we go, 15 experience, got some money, and I get the shield. And yeah, I want the shield. So let's go back over here, go to equip. Is this two-handed? It is not. Now this requires level 5 in order to use, not that big of a deal, you level up fairly quickly. And besides the fact, now here's another thing to be aware of, is your encumbrance. I am already 66% encumbered, and the more encumbered you are, the more it hurts your initiative. So just something to be aware of. But this thing is still way better than my my shield, or I'm sorry, that crappy sword I started out with. So those are some of the basics. Is that you'll want to go out, and here are my pioneers from the city I was building, and I can use them to found new settlements when I find territory that has food on it, or I can use them to build outposts on. Similarly, the other players out in this whole world, like I said, I've only discovered this one tiny piece of the whole world, and are out there somewhere. So we hope you like what you see. You can visit us at www.elementalgame.com to learn more about it. The game will be available in its beta form starting in the next week or so on Steam as well as Direct. So I hope you like what you see.